Peyton with the Saints. Norv Turner, a lot of discussion, of course, about his future after today here in San Diego. His 7th season leading the Chargers, 3 divisional titles, a trip to the conference championship game, his first 3 seasons, 8-8 last year, trying to finish up this season at 7-9 with a win today. Oakland won the toss. They've deferred to the second half, so the Chargers will have the football to start the game. Sebastian Janikowski kicks it away to Michael Spurlock, who takes it at the 2. And a big hole for Spurlock, and he's on his way. Touchdown! The opening kickoff, 99 yards.
In what promises to be an emotional day for these Chargers players who have played for Norv Turner for 6 years, getting off to a start like that is everything they'd hoped for. Spurlock getting great blocking up front, absolutely untouched, right up the hash mark, then pops it to the outside. It's a foot race, and even the team speed of the Raiders can't take an angle big enough to keep Spurlock from getting in the end zone. What a great start for the Raiders.
Spurlock had a 63-yard punt return for a touchdown to open the scoring last week against the Jets. And now a kickoff return, 99 yards. Novak with the extra point. And just like that, fireworks from the Chargers, and they lead it 7-0.
Spurlock taking this right just outside the goal line. Watch as he comes up. What great blocking, the great angles you see right there. He's got this walled off, and a lead blocker coming right up between the numbers and the hash mark. There's just nothing the coverage team can do. They're at different levels. They got out of their lanes, and when you get your coverage into different levels, that gives those athletes who catch the kickoff so much room. They can cut one way or the other, and their ability, those guys with the football in their hands, to see those openings and make a split-second decision is the reason they're back there. And that Spurlock takes advantage of tremendous blocking up front by that Charger return game, breaks it to the sidelines. You can't do it any better than the Chargers did as a team with Spurlock carrying the football.
1 year ago, the last time that the Chargers had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and it came against the Oakland Raiders. Michael Spurlock in his 5th year out of Ole Miss, and now Dennis Allen will have to play from behind as the Chargers with Norv Turner get the quick strike. So now Mike Goodson will try to return the favor from 2 yards deep. And he's bottled up short of the 15-yard line. So Terrell Pryor leads the Raiders out in his first NFL start, chosen in the 3rd round of the supplemental draft last year. Final pick by the late Al Davis, a brilliant career at Ohio State. Told us he feels like he just needs a chance, and he's going to get that today here in the final game of the regular season. 15 different starting quarterback for the Raiders in the last decade. Up the middle as they fake the reverse and the end around. McFadden. Raiders up front will try to slow down the San Diego pass rush. Malik Barnes will go at right tackle despite a triceps injury. Backs and receivers. The Raiders feel they need to get their running game going to take some of the pressure off Pryor. Marcel Reese was named as an alternate to the Pro Bowl this week. 2nd and 5. Opening possession for the Raiders after the kickoff return for a touchdown by San Diego. McFadden pulls his way out to about the 22-yard line. San Diego defense coming off 11 sacks, a franchise record-tying effort against the Jets. Reyes, the rookie out of Connecticut, had 3.5 of them. The linebackers, Takeo Spikes, still making plays and leading the defense in his 15th season. And in the secondary, Eric Weddle. A lot of people people feel that he has had a Pro Bowl level season, leading the secondary at free safety. Reese and McFadden in the backfield with Pryor. 3rd and 1 for the Raiders. Pryor keeps it. And there's just nothing there.
Yeah, I think even though that was a run option quarterback, I don't think the Chargers believed that Pryor was going to give that away. They wanted to make sure that Pryor wasn't going to get off to a fast start. I think when you get a quarterback in like Pryor, who they know is young, I think Pryor's the kind of guy who wants the ball in his own hands, and I think the Chargers anticipated that.
Shane Leckler, who will miss the Pro Bowl for the first time in 6 seasons. The NFL's all-time leader in gross average. Ready to punt away on 4th and 2. Just gets it off. A booming effort. Spurlock having to retreat. And then runs out of bounds near the 30-yard line. And Spurlock has given the Chargers the early lead, 99 yards. 1st and 10 for San Diego as they take over at their own 30-yard line, leading 7-0 here in the early going. Jackie Battle stopped at the 30. Phillip Rivers has had his struggles this season behind some inconsistent play from that offensive line, and the San Diego receiving core. Turnovers have been a problem, but he's played well here in December with 6 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and he comes in today needing just 45 yards to become the first Charger quarterback in franchise history to throw for over 3,500 yards in 5 straight seasons. 2nd and 10. Eddie Royal is the motion man. Back to the ground. Battle picks up 3. That'll bring up 3rd down. Tommy Kelly made the stop. San Diego up front. Chargers will be looking for improved play from their tackles. Kevin Haslam, who was in camp with the Raiders, gets the start today on the left side. Backs and receivers. Antonio Gates, in his 10th season, caught his 82nd career touchdown pass last week to move past Hall of Famer Lance Allworth and set a San Diego franchise record for career touchdown receptions. Lonnie Brown is checked in for the Chargers on 3rd and 7 from their own 33-yard line. Raiders showing blitz, and here they come. Rivers under pressure, and down he goes. Lamar Houston, AFC Defensive Player of the Week in Week 7. High motor guy out of Texas.
Right at the bottom, Andre Carter gets a hand on his ankle and trips him up. Rivers knew he wasn't going to be able to escape and saw Houston coming and just ducked out of it. Both those guys getting a part of that sack early on. Chargers having a hard time getting the run game going, and if that pass rush for the Raiders gets to Rivers, it may be a long afternoon for San Diego.
Mike Cyphers on to punt. He's had a great season. Should break his own team record with a 48-yard average. Denarius Moore fields it at the 30. And loses a little bit of ground. So Pryor takes the field after the 44-yard punt. 107th meeting between the Chargers and the Raiders. The Raiders hold the overall series advantage, but San Diego has won 2 straight, including opening day in Oakland, and 15 of the last 18. Second possession for the Raiders. Pryor over the middle, and that is dropped by Marcel Reese. And Pryor put that right on the money.
Well, the conditions aren't as perfect as they might seem on your television screen as you'll watch Marcel Reese right over the football. Great read by Pryor. But a little while ago, the weather, about an hour ago, the weather in this stadium was horrendous. I mean, now it looks like Southern California like you'd expect in San Diego. But a little while ago, that's not the case. The field was wet, sloppy, and the football in that case showed it.
2nd and 10 after the drop. McFadden up the gut. Takes it out across the 35-yard line, and about an hour or so ago, we had heavy rain and then hail.
Yeah, it was, I mean, look at it. And that's all on the field. The field obviously is uncovered. The players kind of laughed it off, but it was bad.
That can't be pleasant as it hits your helmet.
Yeah, it's like being the snare drum for the Rolling Stones, you know. I mean, you hear it more than you feel it.
3rd and 3. Raiders went 3 and out in their first possession. Pryor stands in. Incomplete. They'll have to punt. Brandon Myers was the intended receiver. Set for an update now. Let's go to JB and Boomer in New York.
Denver playing with some incentive.
On their opening drive, guys, they go 8 plays, 69 yards, tapped off by a 3-yard touchdown run by Noshawn Moreno. Broncos lead 7-0. They win. They get the first seed in the AFC playoffs.
Snare drum for the Rolling Stones.
Nice.
Now, that was pretty good. Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, thank you very much. That Spurlock waves it off, lets it bounce near the 30-yard line. And that is where Phillip Rivers and the Charger offense will take over when we come back. Look at the AFC playoff picture. Cincinnati, Indy, and Baltimore set as the 4, 5, and 6 seeds. Denver wins against Kansas City, and they will have home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs.
And that is a big home field in January, February in Denver.
Houston limping to the finish line, beaten again today in the emotional return of Chuck Pagano to the sideline for Indianapolis.
Hey, we're good.
Second possession for the San Diego Chargers. They scored on the opening kickoff. They lead 7-0. Battle. Tough running, picks up a couple to the 30.
Yeah, we talked to both defensive coordinators, and these two teams really feel their defensive side of the football have taken some strides in the last month, particularly the Raiders. When you I talked to Jason Tarver, their defensive coordinator, and he is very happy with the progress some of the young players have made. In fact, some of the guys on this Raider team have started to play in the second half of the year because they've begun to play like the coaching staff have asked them to play, and their run defense, particularly here, even in the early going, is showing itself to be really improved.
Second and a long 8. Rivers quickly out to Royal, cuts it back. And a first down as he is flung to the turf at the 41-yard line by Matt Giordano, a gain of 11.
Well, Eddie Royal, one of those guys, the key to guys like Eddie Royal, and you see most teams try and find a guy like him who are so fast and so good in space with the ball in their hands. The idea is to get them the football as fast as possible from the quarterback. And you see a lot of those types of throws to guys like Eddie Royal because, as you see there, when he gets his hands on it, he's a handful for the defense to corral.
Royal, who came back last week after missing 4 games with a hamstring injury. That his 20th reception of the season. Rivers, as they pick up the blitz, and that's incomplete. That time Royal couldn't come up with it.
You see there in the early going, as the Chargers really struggled to get anything going in the run game, they turned to Phillip Rivers to get the football out, and this ball really should have been caught. Not a great throw by Rivers, but that's a ball that's going to get caught most of the time, and Rivers probably would expect it to be caught today, even though it was a tough catch.
Figures to be a day when the Chargers take some shots down the field, going after a Raiders secondary that has given up big plays all season for a defense that ranks near the bottom of the league in points allowed. Oakland came in today ranked 30th. 2nd and 10. Ronnie Brown out close to the 44. Mike Mitchell making his second start today for Tyvon Branch at strong safety.
Man, you talk about this Raider team who they faced these Chargers on opening day. What a different defense this looks like in the lineup from opening day when these two teams met to even today. Desmond Bryant will take over for Richard Seymour, who was placed on IR, along with Phillip Adams, who's not in the lineup. You've got Brandon Ross, Mike Mitchell, all these guys in there who aren't normally, or at least aren't expected starters for the Raiders.
Raiders showing blitz. And they come with it. Rivers lofts it. Royal with the catch. Rivers slow getting up, and there is a flag down in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 90, defense, leading with the crown of the helmet into the chest of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty.
Desmond
First
Bryant
down
called
from
for
the end of the run.
infraction.
As we just said, Desmond Bryant starting for Richard Seymour, and that's going to get called these days. Now, you can see that Phillip Rivers does wear that chest protector just for that instance, but that's a great catch. Joselio Hansen on the coverage there, just getting it in over the top is Rivers, and you can see there he's got a lot of body padding in there, and a lot of quarterbacks do that these days. You never used to see that. Now they have more padding to quarterbacks around their midsection than they do on their shoulders, and that's all a function. I mean, I guess form follows function in the NFL. That's where they need the padding, not up around their shoulders, and that's where most of these quarterbacks wear it.
So 31 yards on the completion, 12 more, half the distance to the goal. So from the 13-yard line, and Battle is going for a loss. Omar Gaither came knifing through. Gaither just signed November 14th after 5 seasons in Philadelphia and 1 with Carolina. Started the season in camp with Houston, took over at middle linebacker for Rolando McClain.
Gaither and Philip Wheeler, the two guys playing inside for the Raiders today in linebacker, are two of those guys that Jason Tarver said have really stepped up and begun to grasp what they're trying to do. And let's face it, it's more than just installing a new defense here in Oakland or there in Oakland. It's a whole new culture that they're waiting for the right players to come along and promote.
And movement before the snap.
False start. Number 66. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Jeremy Clary, the right tackle. The San Diego offensive line has really struggled, and you saw the graphic earlier. Phillip Rivers sacked more than any other quarterback in the league. 2nd and 19 after the penalty.
Rocket!
Ronnie Brown is checked in for San Diego. 48 receptions this season for a new career high for Brown. They keep it on the ground. Brown just short of the 15-yard line. Lamar Houston made the stop, a gain of 6.
So much has been said about North Turner and his coaching staff, and first 3 years of their reign here, straight to the playoffs. Now 3 straight years of second place in the division. You talk about what happened. Most all of the people inside that organization point to the left side of their offensive line as where it began to go bad for this Charger team.
They can get a first down if they get it just inside the 3. 3rd and 13. Rivers to Brown. And a fast-closing Oakland defense led by Joselio Hansen. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Phillip Rivers, your watch, his eyes are going to be down the field. He wants to get the first down and then just settles for the dump off to Ronnie Brown, hoping he can perhaps break a tackle, make a guy miss, and get the first down. That's exactly what the Raiders were hoping for, a short completion, let them close on the football and keep him from getting that first.
So Nick Novak, who was born here in San Diego, grew up here before his family moved to Virginia, on to try the 31-yarder and just inside the uprights. So 3 more points for the Chargers, and they are out to a 10-0 lead with 4:11 left to go in the first. San Diego trying to close out the season on a high note, trying to win 3 of their last 4, while the Raiders have struggled almost all season long with injuries and unsettled at so many positions. Oakland has lost 7 of their last 8. They've been outscored by almost 17 points a game in going 1-6 in their last 7 games on the road. Goodson takes a knee. They'll bring it out to the 20. Well, thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. NFL Playoff Challenge is back and better than ever. You could win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play today at NFL.com/fantasy. Terrell Pryor made his first start today since leading Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl at the end of the 2010 season. Pryor heaves it. And we have a marker down, and Darius Hayward-Bay may have been held.
Yeah, Quentin Jammer hit him about 15 yards down the field. Hayward-Bay gave a double move on the outside, and Jammer really, after you're beaten like that, he did the right thing. Don't let the guy loose.
Prior to the pass being thrown, illegal contact, defense, number 23, 5-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
And they call it on the veteran corner out of the University of Texas, former first-round pick in 2002, and there's that double move.
You see Jammer knows as soon as he bites on that hitch route, he's been had. So he kind of tries to throw the hook out and get a piece of him to disrupt the timing of the route. Some speculation about what Quentin Jammer's future is here in San Diego. Been a stalwart in the secondary. One of the question marks also facing this San Diego Charger team is the future of Quentin Jammer.
McFadden fights his way for 3 yards. Demario Williams made the stop.
Talk about futures of guys. Darren McFadden, a guy who has been in and out of the lineup for the Raiders. No question, he's a superstar when he's in the lineup, but he has missed so many games. And you look here back at the course of his career, last year missed 9 games. This year, out 4 games. Never played a complete season his entire career. And for a guy who you depend on, if he's not dependable to not be in there, it's really tough to hang your hat on a guy who's that big a part of your offense.
2nd and 7. McFadden again. Stopped at the 33-yard line by Corey Lynch. Let's take a look at Darren McFadden this season. 650 rushing yards in 11 games, but a career low of 3.3 yards a carry. He has missed 23 games in his 5-year career, including 4 with a high ankle sprain this season. He was a guy that, of course, the Raiders were expecting to be a big part of their offense. 3rd and 2. Pryor keeps it rolling out. And that is caught for a first down. Rod Streeter, the rookie free agent out of Temple. A gain of 10.
Good play action by Pryor. Buys a lot of time as he comes out. And the thing that it's good about this, he throws this completely off balance across his body, doesn't set up like a passer, but it's right on the money, right where Streeter can grab it. And the few throws that Pryor has made this early going, not all completions, they've all been pretty much right on the money, and that is a good sign in the early going.
Mike Goodson is checked in the backfield. Pryor, pump fake. And then finally lets it go. That's caught by Myers, the tight end. And let's check in once again for an update from New York with JB and Boomer.
New England in the hunt for number 1 seed.
Tom Brady, 9-yard touchdown pass to Wes Welker. 48 straight games with the TDs, right behind Drew Brees, who holds the record for that stat. 54. New England wins. And Denver wins. New England will be number 2. Denver will be number 1.
Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, the Patriots trying to rebound after looking sluggish in their win over Jacksonville. Meanwhile, the Raiders into San Diego territory. After the pickup of 17, 1st and 10 from the 40 of the Chargers. Running room for Goodson. Slashes his way for a 9-yard gain, and again, we're set for an update. Let's go to JB and Boomer.
Adrian Peterson.
Vikings win. They get into the NFC playoffs. Adrian Peterson, 61 yards so far. 7-yard TD run right here. Vikings up 10-0. He needs 147 yards to break Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record.
A remarkable year by all day. Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, thanks again. The Vikings trying to end a 5-game losing streak against the Packers and reach the playoffs for the first time since 2009. 2nd and short for the Raiders. San Diego leads at 10-0. Pryor, that's caught by Hayward-Bay, dropped immediately by Antoine Cason.
Well, Terrell Pryor throwing the football really effectively here on this drive. putting just enough air under that one to get it over the outstretched arms of the defender trying to rush the passer. And it was really interesting. As you see, Pryor there finally got his jersey dirty, and you can now tell he's a lot more comfortable as the game progresses.
Solid start for Terrell Pryor as we've reached the end of the first quarter, and we'll return to San Diego after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Ready to start the second quarter here in San Diego. The Raiders, after going 3 and out in their first 2 drives, putting together a good drive here with 4 first downs. And as you said before we stepped away, Steve, that Terrell Pryor is starting to look very comfortable. 3 of 3 for 31 yards on this drive. First and 10 for the Raiders. Fadden. Pryor on the play action, finally has to get rid of it. Smart fake to McFadden. And always a threat to run, and obviously the defense very aware of that.
No question. Watch as he comes out on the bootleg. McFadden takes the fake to the other way, and that little hesitation and then this move right here, I mean, that's really disconcerting for a defense. Sean Phillips trying to keep Pryor hemmed in, but no question, I think Pryor looks surprisingly comfortable in his first start.
High formation. McFadden cuts it to the outside and then slips and falls inside the 20. And that was good for 8 yards.
It looked as though if he'd head to the sidelines, he could have gotten the first down, but he wanted to try and get to the end zone, and he knew to do that he was going to have to try and cut back. And he made the decision to go for the touchdown instead of taking the first down. He's going to outrun Weddle there to the sideline, to the pylon, and decides to try and cut back in to get more yardage. And Weddle makes the tackle after he slips.
3rd and 2, and Oakland will take a timeout. Timeout on the field here early in the second. 10-0 San Diego. The Raiders ready to go after the timeout, facing 3rd and 2. Pryor from the gun. Stands in and takes off. And he's got the first down. Steps out of bounds at the 13.
This is why he's so dangerous. He covers so much ground. He's a tall, athletic quarterback. When he pulls this down, there's absolutely no question he's getting the first down. Takeo Spikes tries to get him right at the pylon, can't do it. Pryor steps out of the tackle. That's what you need to do. Don't run it all over the field. Just get that first down.
Told us he grew up a fan of Tom Brady. He said people know that he's athletic and he can run with the football, but he also wants to show he can run an offense and throw it effectively as well, and he's done all of that on this drive. McFadden tries to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage, and he will lose a couple of yards. Well defended by the Chargers. Bird and Kaysen on the stop.
Well, Kayson's going to get the worst end of a stiff arm by McFadden at the end of this, but I think McFadden, his frustration showing right there. He throws Kayson off into the boundary. Watch this. You think you're going to run a guy out of bounds like ho-hum, and he decides to throw you off into the photographers. Kayson, you can bet he'll remember that later in the game if he gets a chance to pay back.
He spotted back at the 17-yard line. Mike Goodson has checked in. The Raiders have not scored in their last 26 possessions. Pryor lost it to the end zone. Intended for Streeter, who was well covered. Kaysen was with him step for step. Now we've got a tussle going on, and a marker is down as well.
Yeah, it's Mike Goodson, the running back, who stepped in on pass protection that got tangled up. And now we've got multiple flags all over the field. The first flag was in the end zone for pass interference. As Rod Streeter tried to go up and catch that football. And then in the backfield, after the play was over, Goodson got tangled up with one of the Charger pass rushers.
Well, San Diego may be 6-9 and the Raiders may be 4-11, but it's still the Raiders and the Chargers.
And there you see it. He's got his hands up, and neither guy wants to let go. That's Takeo Spikes, who's a guy who's played over a decade as middle linebacker. Neither one of those guys is a shrinking violet. I mean, they're going to draw blood in a bar fight. I mean, they're going to walk out pretty much unscathed.
Takeo's 36 years old. Came in needing 2 tackles to reach 100 for the 12th time in his 15-year career. And now let's hear the verdict from John Perry, our referee.
There are 3 fouls on the play that will offset and will replay second down. Pass interference, defense, number 20, personal foul, number 51, personal foul, number 25, number 51, and number 25 have been disqualified.
Wow. You see Takeo Spikes is very unhappy.
You got to calm down.
And I'm surprised that those guys got ejected, because usually you have to throw a punch or do something like that to get ejected. Now Takeo Spikes might add to it. And I agree with both players. Now that's a tussle, no question. They lost their tempers, but I didn't see any ejectable offense.
Talking to Spikes.
And Takeo Spikes, in his 12th year, he doesn't get too many more seasons to have one end in this manner. And I really didn't see anything on the replay that warranted an ejection, unless one of them made contact with an official in the melee or something like that. And Takeo Spikes may not cool down till March.
Leader of the San Diego defense, and again was trying to reach 100 tackles for the season for the 12th time in his 15-year career. Goodson goes off fairly quietly. Let's pick up what happened.
Well, that's the beginning of it right there, and it's just, nobody's going to give up. And see,
I don't
nobody's
think
throwing punches.
Yeah, Spikes was not being aggressive there.
Neither one of them. I mean, they're both pushing each other on the face mat, and right there, okay, I don't see why anybody got ejected because of this. And that, I mean, I can see why if they're not going to let up, then you throw the flag and they offset. Okay, so why did anybody get ejected there, let alone both guys? I think that's an overreaction by the officials.
Takeo trying to get the crowd fired up, as if that was necessary with the Raiders in town. They will replay the down, 2nd and 14. Short drop for Pryor. Under pressure. And out of bounds. Demario Williams forced him out of bounds after a gain of 8. Spikes in the tunnel.
And that is a long walk.
A gain of 9.
Third and 6 upcoming for the Raiders. Ball just inside the 10.
Now it's time both these teams have to take a deep breath. The Chargers now for the remainder of this game will go without their heartbeat on defense and Takeo Spikes.
Pryor. Touchdown. Darius Hayward-Bay. A great adjustment and a very good back shoulder throw by Terrell Pryor.
Well, it's a courageous throw for a young quarterback to make that throw. Let's face it, he hasn't been taking reps with these receivers on a regular basis until this week. And this throw to put this up and have Hayward-Bay, you see there the contact. Now, the Chargers are going to say Hayward-Bay pushed off. I don't think he got much of an advantage, even if he did. I think that's a good no call by the officials. Pryor throwing that football to the back shoulder. It's designed, no question about it. And in the climate of today's NFL, the offensive player always gets the benefit of the doubt. In that case, no question there was some contact at the top. No call.
Janikowski on to try the extra point, make it a 3-point game, and does. So Terrell Pryor in his first NFL start, an impressive drive from the Oakland Raiders. 12-11 left to go in the half. Raiders are on the board. 80-yard drive. 9-yard touchdown catch on the pass from Terrell Pryor by Darius Hayward-Bay. Spurlock back deep. He already has a 99-yard return for a touchdown. Feels this at the 1. Driven out of bounds near the 20. Let's go back and take another look at the scuffle. Mike Goodson and Takeo Spikes.
And then a moment later, Bill, as the touchdown goes in, we said it was a coin flip as to whether it was offensive pass interference. Norv Turner, no question, he thought it was a push-off on the offense. And for me, I thought there might have been a flag on it as well in live action. Then on the replay, I think it's more of a coin flip. And if you're a Charger fan, you think that the Raiders got away with one. And if you're the Raiders, you think it's a good no call. It was a very close call at the end of that touchdown.
They're spotted at the 19. That's where Chargers will take over 1st and 10. Rivers dumps it out into the flat to Battle, who's dropped after a 1-yard gain. Keep your fantasy football season going with Playoff Challenge and compete throughout the postseason for a chance to win up to $1,600. Sign up now at cbssports.com/challenge. 2nd and 9 for the Chargers. Muddy field after heavy rains earlier in the day. We also had hail. Made the footing a little tough for these players. Empty backfield now. Here they come on the blitz. Rivers gets rid of it. Intended for Royal, incomplete.
The Raiders came right up the pipe as Gaither came in right in front of Rivers. You're going to see him come right in. Comes right free, and Rivers has got to get rid of it. And because it's so early, Royal can't get out of this break and adjust to the football. Rivers has to lead him away from the defender. That's a pressure incompletion. It was a great job by that front for the Raiders.
Ronnie Brown in the backfield with Rivers on 3rd and 9.
Rocket!
They come again. Rivers has to get rid of it. He hit Spurlock in stride, but he's going to be
just short.
A yard or so short of the 1st down marker.
Oh, what a great tackle. As Chikwa is just going to get beat and then stay with it, makes the tackle just short of the 1st down. It was a good tackle and a good spot by the official. It did turn up just short, and it forces the punt. And now the Raiders getting caught trying to make substitutions.
Denarius Moore back deep. Cypher standing back at his own 14. And they fake it. And that's going to be a 1st down.
Yeah, it looked like the Raiders almost expected it. They jumped in and dove in right at the football as Eric Weddle right here is going to take the snap. The Raiders kind of see it, but it's too late. It's too short of a yardage. The Chargers get a good push up front, right inside. All they got to do is get a 1.5 yards, and they get it. So difficult to defend that for no gain.
And a great surge by the San Diego line.
And really, it's not even it's no lineman in there. It's all linebackers. You know, it's just guys who are covering kicks, and they get it done. Weddle, a good player, great safety, and all-pro safety does the job.
So a fresh set of downs for San Diego. Rivers toward the sideline. Caught by Royal. Weddle left off the Pro Bowl team, and that was fairly controversial. here, at least in the San Diego area. He's had an outstanding season.
Well, he had a great year last year, wasn't all Pro Bowler last year, and then got left off this year. Everybody said, well, wait a minute, it's the same year he had a year ago. And this Charger team, I think everybody, it's when you win games, everybody's ship rises in that harbor. And then if you lose games, guys start getting left off those lists.
Battle. Tripped up, but gets the first down. Now to the 47-yard line, a gain of 5. Lamar Houston made the stop, and we're set for an update. Let's go back to JB and Boomer in New York.
New England thinking postseason.
Stephen Ridley, 4th and goal from the 1-yard line, barrels it in. They take a 14-0 lead over the Dolphins. That's 13 plays, 92 yards. New England wins. They secure the number 2 seed. If they win and Denver loses, they will then get the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs.
Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, thank you very much. First down for San Diego. The Charger 47, and movement, encroachment, we suspect, by the Oakland Raiders.
That's a veteran quarterback move right there.
Encroachment, defense, number 93, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Tommy Kelly.
It's interesting because when Terrell Pryor got his chance to start earlier in the year, he couldn't even get the snap count. He had his own team jumping off sides. They had trouble with the cadence, and then you get a guy with a lot of experience like Rivers. He just gives the guys an extra sentence in the huddle and says, hey, watch for the hard count, and they get an extra 5 yards. That's the difference between experience and confidence and a guy who's making his first start.
Rivers made his 112th consecutive start today since taking over for Drew Brees. Flag is down. Battle up the middle.
That's 2 5-yard penalties for encroachment on the Raiders. It's going to end up in a first down, automatic.
Offside, defense, number 99 at the snap. Result of the penalty, first down.
Lamar Houston.
Had 2 plays in a row. And try and crowd the line as much as possible. When they twitch forward, they are offsides. Rivers once again getting, and that starts to play on a defense's aggressiveness particularly down in the trenches when those defensive linemen aren't for sure about that quarterback's cadence.
Chargers trying to answer the 80-yard drive by the Raiders. From the Oakland 43, Rivers going deep. Intended for Alexander, and Giordano came down with it.
Oh, and they're saying that he bobbled it, and he didn't come down. Giordano broke extremely well, covered a lot of ground once Rivers put this football in the air. Giordano starts down here. Watch where he ends up as they invert the safeties. And that's the play before. That was Giordano, 27. He covered a lot of ground on that last play. As you'll see him come from out of there. Now see this, they say he bobbled this on his way down. Oh yeah, he didn't catch it. I didn't see the ball pop out.
So 2nd and 10 for San Diego. Brinkley is checked into the game and has a nice pickup down to the 36-yard line. A gain of 7, and again we're set for an update. Back to JB and Boomer in New York.
Need we say more than Peyton Manning?
He throws his 35th touchdown pass of the season for Denver. They go 14-3, this time an 11-yard at Eric Decker. They win. They'll be the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs.
Mr. McAtee, Mr. Tasker.
Yeah, Denver goes from backing into the playoffs a year ago to home field because they switched quarterbacks.
Lost by Kansas City, and that would ensure the Chiefs the number 1 pick in the draft next April. It's been a long season in Kansas City. 3rd and 3. Rivers sidearm. And that is caught near the marker by Antonio Gates.
And that's going to be a first down as Rivers. The thing about Phillip Rivers is his ability to be accurate when he's not quite got his feet set. Right there, Gates, of course, he's got a great catch radius, and Rivers, you see there, just as he flinches, just before he lets that go, as Wheeler comes right at him again. I tell you, it's the most underrated quality a quarterback can have. The ball goes where he aims it. It sounds simple, but man, what a difference.
1st and 10. Battle. Miles Burris made the stop. Burris, who played his college football here in San Diego at San Diego State, but actually grew up in Northern California, a couple hours from the Coliseum.
Had an interception last week against Carolina.
Burris, a two-time All-Mountain West selection for the Aztecs of San Diego State. He's also named the school's Student Athlete of the Year. As the 11th play of the drive is upcoming, 2nd and 5 for the Chargers.
Yeah, they're going to give one of those offsides back. This is a false start.
Number 69, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Tyrone Green, the left guard, 4th year out of Auburn.
Right here. Tough to sustain a drive when you're the one making the mistake. Even when you get down close, it brings up a 2nd and 10 instead of a 2nd and 5. Makes all the difference in the world.
53, 53.
Back at the 32. Michael was the motion man. Play action. Rivers checks it down to Battle. And Battle hammers his way to a 1st down, running over Brandon Ross.
Well, Battle is 6'2", 240 pounds, so Ross wants no part of coming up and facing him up. He does the right thing. Just go low, get him on the ground, give up a couple of yards behind you. Ross getting the start at cornerback today because Phillip Adams is out and has to, I mean, that's what you get. If you want to play cornerback, it's not just covering wide receivers. Sometimes you got a guy like Jackie Battle bearing down on you, and man, that's hard.
Gain of 11 and a 1st down for the Chargers. Battle again. Couple of tough yards inside. Mike Mitchell among those on the stop. Mitchell making a 2nd start today for Tyvon Branch, who's been battling ankle and foot injuries.
Yeah, he played 3/4 of last week's game after not starting. And Branch came out of that game, so he's not new to this defense.
2nd and 8. 10-7 San Diego. Nearing the end of the 1st half. Underneath, Battle, nice move. And he could have another 1st down.
This is a very solid drive by San Diego. I was speaking to Jason Tarver, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders, and I asked him about Norv Turner, and the two of them coached together in San Francisco for a year. And Tarver said, I think Norv Turner may be the greatest offensive play caller of all time. And let me write that down. I said, because that's a big statement, but he really believes it.
Still get a 1st down inside the 1. 1st and 10 to the end zone. Rivers, Gates. Antonio Gates.
What a drive by San Diego. Gates out of the slot, gets to the corner. Rivers looks down the middle, then comes out late. What a great route. Perfect, and that's another good play call by Norv Turner, finding a way to get a guy who everybody knows is dangerous down there, finding a way to get that guy open once again for a touchdown.
Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates have been the most successful quarterback tight end duo in NFL history. That is their 56th pass for a touchdown. And the touchdown set up in part by the fake punt. And then the touchdown pass, Rivers to Gates, 17-7 San Diego. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest scores and highlights and playoff information on this final Sunday of the regular season. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Drive that took almost 9.5 minutes, 14 plays, 81 yards for the Chargers. Antonio Gates, 8 consecutive trips to the Pro Bowl, named as a third alternate this season. His 83rd career touchdown reception, adding to his San Diego franchise record. Nick Novak ready to kick it away to Boy Francis. Takes over the return duties with Mike Goodson ejected. Francis brings it out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. So Pryor and company will take over with 2:42 left to go in the half. Raiders' first 3 possessions, 3 and out in their first 2, and then the 80-yard touchdown drive. They take over, 2:42 left to go in the half from their own 21. Short drop for Pryor, lost it. For Moore, incomplete.
Yeah, that ball was uncatchable. Talk about Terrell Pryor making his first start. Using the play action, giving him a chance to get out of the field, cutting the field in half so his reads are a little easier, and then he makes this play. This is a great play. I think the thing that I've seen up until this last third that just went out of bounds, he's been very accurate with the ball when he throws it. And I think that's been crucial. I think that's the most promising thing I've seen so far, aside from the fact that he's playing very well.
From the gun, underneath to McFadden. He's wrapped up short of the 25.
There's no question, as this game, we came into this game, we knew, and Dennis Allen told us, that the play selection was going to be quite limited for Pryor in this game. They didn't want to overload him and give him too much to think about. So as his season progresses and his career progresses, you see Matt Leinart there, who was the backup to Carson Palmer throughout the season. As Pryor's career progresses, that menu is going to have to grow and grow and grow, and Pryor is going to have to grow and grow and grow in his abilities as well. But this is definitely a good start.
We've reached the 2-minute warning. 17-7 Chargers. Back in San Diego with the Raiders facing a 3rd and 7 from their own 24. Chargers showing blitz. They back out of it. Pryor up the sideline and just overthrows Denarius Moore. Moore had a step or two. That'll bring up 4th and 7.
They're certainly giving Pryor enough opportunities to head down the field twice on this drive. It was a 3 and out. 2 of them were shots down the football field, trying to get the Chargers to back out of that front 7, almost daring Pryor and the Raiders to take chances like that.
They're punting to the dangerous Michael Spurlock. Already has a kickoff return for a touchdown. Slipped getting started and then dropped at the 30-yard line. 1:42 left to go in the half. A 51-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Overcast day here in San Diego. Let's take a look, Steve, at your year-end award winners for MVP. Tom Brady, Rookie of the Year. Russell Wilson from the Seahawks, and Bruce Arians of Indianapolis, who was the interim head coach for an unbelievable season for the Colts. And I think that's a very solid group.
I think Russell Wilson was the biggest surprise among those rookie quarterbacks. He had to earn his right to start in Seattle in training camp. He did that, and now has taken them to the playoffs. I think that's the best performance by a rookie, even though we've got a couple of good rookie quarterbacks playing.
Rivers tried to throw on 1st down, and he's sacked. Lamar Houston led the charge.
And that was not a coverage sack. This pocket just collapses right around Rivers. He tries to step up, and just as he wants to get rid of it, thinks his arm's going to get hit, doesn't want to take the chance on delivering it in the traffic, and pulls it down. Great job by all the front 4 of the Raiders in that instance.
Keep it on the ground to Brown. Gets it back to the original line of scrimmage while Burris made the tackle. And coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Gower for all the latest scores and highlights, as well as playoff information on this final Sunday of the regular season. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. And the Raiders have taken a timeout with 1:01 left to go in the half. Norv Turner, of course, so much speculation about his future here in San Diego. If Norv leaves, and Jason La Canfora has reported that Andy Reid, who lives here in San Diego, has a house by the beach. If he leaves Philadelphia, could be a prime candidate for the head coaching position, and Norv could end up as the offensive coordinator for the Jets. 3rd and 10 for San Diego.
Even Ryan, go to 52. Hey!
Keep it on the ground to Ronnie Brown, and that'll bring up 4th down.
The Raiders will take a quick timeout to stop the clock, give them 56 seconds to make something happen after this punt.
Timeout on the field here in San Diego. And we're back, 4th and 7. Mike Cypher's on to punt for the Chargers. Denarius Moore back deep for Oakland, standing back at his own 23. Inside of a minute left to play in the half. Booming punt. Fielded at the 13. Moore slips. And finally driven out of bounds. They're looking for the flag, and they're going to get it. Contact well out of bounds.
And that's a mistake that's really meaningful at this point. With 47 seconds left, you're going to give the Raiders an extra 15 yards, and you're responsible, even as tough as it is, when he's out of bounds, like right here. You can't do that.
Dante Rosario.
Yeah, Rosario, and he's in the air, no question. You can't do it.
Unnecessary roughness of the kicking team, number 88, with a late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that is a good call. And it's a bad penalty.
Raiders will have great field position, 47 seconds to work with, and of course, one of the great kickers in NFL history, in Sebastian Janikowski, who has missed just once from inside of 60 yards all season.
We were talking before the game. You shake your head at his numbers. He's missed two kicks over 60. Most kickers don't even get that chance because nobody thinks they can even try it.
Raiders out of timeouts. Pryor. And he's going to run with it. Tries to cut back, slips down. Trying to get everybody up.
And that's a good job by him. Get up and immediately start to line them up. 30 seconds, 30 and counting.
Gain of 5 on the scramble into San Diego territory. Out to McFadden, and McFadden steps out of bounds.
The Raiders with no timeouts. And it's interesting as we close out this first half, no matter how this drive ends, I got to say this about Terrell Pryor. It doesn't seem too big for him. He seems confident, even though he hasn't played great. He hasn't put the team on his back, but it is not too big for him. And I've been really impressed with his ability to seem poised in the pocket and run the offense. And I think that's what Dennis Allen really said earlier in the week is what he was looking for. Get him in and out of the huddle, let the players around him play.
3rd and 6. Pryor. Ball batted around, intended for Myers, and we've got a marker down.
This was a pre-snap. It's going to be
Offside. Defense, number 95, in the neutral zone at the 5-yard penalty, and we'll replay. 3rd down.
And that almost puts them in field goal range right there. You just see right here, Sean Phillips just going to, that right there puts him off sides.
Trying to figure out with Sebastian Janikowski what you would consider out of field goal range.
You know, the bus outside the stadium is probably out of field goal range, but other than that, anything inside the first 3 rows.
So it'll be 3rd and 1. 12 seconds.
We have no timeout.
Play and here in the half, and no timeouts for Oakland. Pryor And he finally...
Oh, he stayed in bounds.
It seemed like he really went out of bounds. He slipped and then rolled.
That's the
clock continues
that
to
was
run.
the first misstep he had.
Yeah, not a great choice.
His first false move of the day, and it ended up because he lost his footing and couldn't get out of bounds and robbed the Raiders of a field goal attempt.
So we'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. You're listening to a Pepsi anthem by Ice Cube. Download this and other NFL-inspired anthems at PepsiAnthems.com. As we are back in San Diego, Chargers lead it 17-7. Bill McAtee and Steve Tasker, and special teams, the difference, Steve, in the first half for San Diego. But how about the play of Terrell Pryor?
Yeah, and we said just at the close of the first half, this does not seem to be too big for him. He seemed poised. He seemed confident in the decisions he has made. He hasn't made any glaringly bad decisions, nor has he made even, in my opinion, a single bad throw. He's given his receivers a chance. He's had to have a couple of throwaways. And I got to say, the early going of his first start here in the first half, he's been pretty impressive.
Let's take a look at the numbers from the first two quarters. Fairly even in total yards.
And you mentioned really the difference in this game, the 10 points that the Chargers lead by. One was the opening kickoff return for a touchdown. The other touchdown was set up by a fake punt. So special teams doing everything the Chargers need him to do, setting him up for a 10-point lead at halftime.
Norv Turner trying to win his 59th game in 6 seasons as head coach of the Chargers. That's an average of almost 10 games a season, but they have struggled over the last 3 years. And with only 6 wins through 15 games this season, widely regarded that his departure at this point is inevitable. But as you said, Steve, so well regarded as an offensive mind in the National Football League, and he will land on his feet, no question about it, somewhere in the NFL.
Yeah, and absolutely. And you know, as what has become known as Black Monday approaches tomorrow, the musical chairs game that happens after every NFL season will begin.
Troy Francis will take a knee 6 yards deep in the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. NFL.com reporting that the Eagles have made it official that Andy Reid has been let go as head coach of the Eagles.
And I've been talking to some of the people here in the press box and you as well. I think Andy Reid is a perfect fit here in San Diego. His track record when he had a quarterback like Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia was spectacular.
Terrell Pryor, 6 of 11 for 42 yards and a touchdown in the first half. McFadden cannot turn the corner and will lose a couple of yards. Corey Leggett, the #1 pick a year ago, with an outstanding play there. He's had a terrific season, leading the defensive line in almost every category, including passes defended with 9. That's second only to J.J. Watt among defensive linemen in the NFL.
And he seems to be finding his stride. He's got 5 sacks in the last 5 games, and he had 2 last week against the Jets.
2nd and 14 for the Raiders. They trail by 10. Just underway in the second half. Pryor, nowhere to go, finally gets rid of it. And it bounces off the ground, intended for Myers. Marcus Gilchrist had the initial pressure.
And as always, after halftime, that first series after halftime is so important because the coaching staff gets a chance to take a big, deep breath and get an idea of what both teams are doing against the other. And, of course, no question, the Charger defense is focused on Terrell Pryor. And he's going to have a lot of work to do to try and get loose on any play action or any bootlegs. They are watching him like a hawk.
San Diego came in ranked 11th overall on defense, 4th against the run, 18th against the pass. Pryor looked like he was going to take off, and that is caught and then fumbled. Rod Streeter, the intended receiver.
That's interesting.
And it was ruled a catch and a fumble.
Well, this will be reviewed, even if it is a turnover, it'll be reviewed automatically. And it looked to me like Streeter was actually down when the ball came out, although my angle was not perfect. We'll get a look at it. Wilson, there's a flag as well in the backfield. Pryor thinks he was hit in the face as he let go
Prior
of it.
to the interception, personal foul, roughing the passer, number 94 defense, contact to the quarterback's head, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and an automatic first down, Oakland's ball.
Well, Legion, as much as we said, complimented him a moment ago, he got to the quarterback again and hit Pryor in the face, right? Yeah, you got to keep your eye. He tried to hit Pryor's arm as he delivered it, and he went right to the face mask side of the head, and you can't do that. Even when the quarterback's out of the pocket, and that puts a lot on the defender's plate, I think. That's a hard rule for a defender to live by.
Could have been a big play for the Chargers, but the Raiders will keep it. 1st and 10 from their own 31. Chargers showing blitz. Here they come. Pryor tried to hit Marcel Reese, who was sprinting toward the sideline, but incomplete. Couldn't get anything on the football.
Yeah, he short-armed that throw, and he's put a lot of touch on some of the passes he's made. This one had too much on it. Reese comes open, but as he's falling away, he just doesn't put enough on it to get it out to the sideline. That's a poor throw, but it was the right decision. So there's always something positive for Dennis Allen to look for in Pryor, and thus far, there's been a lot of positives.
McFadden alone in the backfield, 2nd and 10. Drop back into the gun. Pryor. And the ball bounces up in the air and finally falls incomplete. Reese, the intended receiver. And that could have been an interception.
Well, splitting the fullback at the top of the screen brings a safety out, and that you got to turn your body, make that catch, and it's a bouncing ball that is dangerous for the offense.
Corey Lynch had a good beat on it, but could not bring it in either.
Yeah, Reese has got to pull that in. That would have been a huge play for the Raiders had he done so.
Couple of catchable balls dropped today by the normally sure-handed Marcel Reese, a Pro Bowl alternate. 3rd and 10 for Oakland. Pryor in the seam. That's caught by Myers. Into San Diego territory.
You know, even Dennis Allen tempered his expectations of this game. Terrell Pryor, just a week ago after the game, Dennis Allen said, you know, he's just not ready to be a starting quarterback. And yet, with the situation that their season is in, they want to evaluate him. They stuck him in there today and let him start. I think, you know, let's face it, he's not playing like Tom Brady, but he's having a pretty good game for a guy who's in his first start. And I think he's raising some eyebrows.
22 yards on the reception. They toss it back to McFadden. Able to make something out of nothing. Gets it out to the 43-yard line. Jared Johnson, who came over from the Ravens, made the stop.
In this day and age of the NFL, you got so many young quarterbacks who can really run around and make some things happen. But the situation is this: most people think their running quarterback is all about getting a first down and running down the field. It's more about extending the play and making the throw.
McFadden down to the 41. That'll bring up 3rd down. Demario Williams made the stop. Former Kansas City Chief in his 9th year out of Nebraska. 3rd and 4 for Oakland.
You talk about these guys, former Kansas City Chiefs, you know, former Raiders, former Chargers. I mean, these teams are division rivals. It's like playing your brother. Sometimes even the stands, there's a lot of Oakland fans here, a lot of Charger fans. Obviously, they're selling both teams paraphernalia outside the stadium. It's a family squabble here today, and it's heated.
On 3rd down, Pryor takes off. He'll have the first down, and he steps out of bounds. And that's what makes him so dangerous. Able to extend the play, and when no one was open, tuck it under, and he gets the first down, a gain of 8.
And you're right, nobody really was open. He did the right thing here. This is not just a guy who couldn't make the right decision or didn't want to throw the football. There was nobody open, and Pryor makes something out of nothing. And that's exactly what a quarterback's got to do. Nobody found a way to win on the outside. His tight end, Myers, was totally mugged in the middle of the field. He had nobody to throw it to. He did the right thing.
Pryor, the leading rusher today for the Raiders. They convert on 3rd and 4, an 8-yard scramble. Running room inside. Down to the 27-yard line goes McFadden. Larry English made the stop, a gain of 6.
Dennis Allen, as you said, great pedigree as a young head coach coming in here to take over the reins in Oakland, has done a lot towards changing the culture. This is an organization that is now evolving into something that it hasn't been in the past.
Wanted to get a good look at some of his young players today, including Pryor. He'll be doing a lot of evaluating to see what he has and what holes need to be filled in the offseason. 2nd and 4. Short drop, pump fake, and center of the field just throws it up, and it's intercepted by Quentin Jammer. Pryor throwing into coverage, and he pays the price.
Well, he gave Hayward Bay a chance to battle for the football, and he didn't get it done. As he throws this up, trying to get the big play. It's open for a moment. Jammer makes a great play.
After the interception and touchback, they bring it out to the 20, and the Chargers take over there, 1st and 10, leading 17-7. 10:21 left to go in the 3rd. Battle right up the middle. Stopped just short of the 25. Another look at the interception.
So many young quarterbacks in the NFL trust their arms so much they want to gun the football on every throw. In this case, I think what we've seen from Pryor today is he puts touch on a lot of his passes. That ball, if he could have gunned it in there, maybe would have gotten there before Jammer had a chance to get there. Nevertheless,
that was a heck of an athletic play by Quentin Jammer in his 11th year out of Texas.
Yeah, Pryor saw something that maybe he didn't see at Ohio State.
3rd interception of the season for Jammer. Battle. Back to the line of scrimmage. Desmond Bryant made the stop.
Jackie Battle carrying the load today at running back. And there. Defensive coordinator.
Raiders will have a lot of decisions to make. Both teams will. One of the biggest for the Raiders will be what to do at quarterback. We'll talk more about that a little later. 3rd and 5 for San Diego. Rivers steps up, incomplete. Spurlock was flashing across the middle, and San Diego will have to punt.
Yeah, Rivers dropped back, wanted to go to Gates, his tight end, and he just got mugged. Look at this right here, as Gates just got double teamed and absolutely mugged right off the line of scrimmage. Rivers had no chance at getting it to him. Obviously tries to go late to Spurlock and can't get it in there.
Cypher's on to punt, standing back at his own 10. Boots it away to Denarius Moore, has to retreat. And feels it at the 18. And a nice open field tackle. Melvin Ingram with the stop, but we have a flag across the field.
This is also going to be a penalty for a block in the back. This is adding insult to injury. Olawale put a block right in front of the returner in the back.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 49. 10-yard penalty. 1st down. Timeout on the field.
A 58-yard punt. Great special teams coverage by the Chargers, and it will be a longer field for the Raiders. Downtown San Diego on this late December Sunday, and we'll look back at North Turner's success early on here in San Diego. AFC West champions, won 3 divisional titles, got to the conference championship game. 13-3 in 2009, but has struggled since. Record of 23 and 24. And it's been a terrific run if it does indeed come to an end tomorrow. McFadden reverses his field, trying to turn the corner, and there's just no running room. Swarming Charger defense. Kaysen finally made the stop.
Had a long talk with him on Friday, North Turner. He really, and you said it earlier, he is well respected around the National Football League as a play caller. Obviously, as a head coach, it's a lot different responsibility set than just to be an offensive coordinator. But no question, if North Turner wants to work, he's going to have people that want him on their staff. If indeed what it looks like is going to happen does happen.
2nd and 8, Pryor out to McFadden. Good penetration, and Pryor had to get rid of that quickly. Quad Bird and Kaysen combined to make the stop.
And McFadden's got to catch this. Gets a backward pass, and he does a nice job pulling it in with one hand. But Pryor, well, he got rid of that under duress, and he did everything he could to get it out there. McFadden had to wait on it, otherwise it might have been a few extra yards.
Good example of the speed of their linebacker, the rookie out of South Carolina, the first-round pick, Ingram. He was on Pryor quickly. 3rd and 8 for Oakland. In the seam, incomplete. Streeter was the intended receiver.
Timed perfectly by Lynch, the safety. You'll watch, Streeter's going to come up, break in, the safety's going to break right on the pass, and that is exactly the way you're supposed to do it. That is a good no call, great defensive play by Lynch.
So Spurlock back deep, had the 63-yard punt return in the first quarter to jumpstart the Chargers last week against the Jets and opened this game with a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And it will be a short field for San Diego. They will take over in Oakland territory, leading 17-7 after a 32-yard punt. San Diego takes over 1st and 10 from the Oakland 47-yard line, their best starting point by over 20 yards in this game. Chargers lead it 17-7, 7:10 left to play in the 3rd. Chargers keep it on the ground, battle. Submarines down to the 45-yard line. Gaither made the stop.
Raiders still doing a good job against the Charger run game, even here early in the second half.
And the playoff scenarios in the AFC, the Texans lost today to Indianapolis, so that means if Denver beats Kansas City, they will be the #1 seed, and the road to Super Bowl 47 on the AFC side will go through the Rocky Mountains. 2nd and 8 for San Diego. New England, if things stay the way they are now, would be the #2 seed. They dump it down to Battle. And hammers his way to a first down. Pickup of 10 yards down to the 35-yard line. Gaither again on the stop.
Yeah, and that's one of the classic things that offenses are able to do, particularly with a quarterback who's heads up. Rivers steps up. Battle was kept in to protect, and as the defense focused on Phillip Rivers, Battle just slipped away. Rivers just shovels him the football, turns into a first down. That's just heads up football by a running back and a quarterback.
Battle slips trying to cut back. Picks up maybe one. Shaughnessy will be credited with the stop. December has been a very good month for Phillip Rivers throughout his career, a record of 25-5 as a starter in December. He's thrown for almost 7,000 yards with 54 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, and that joins a pretty good group.
That's a pretty short list right there, those 5 guys. Wow.
Curtis Brinkley has checked in at running back for San Diego.
Go to 53. Hey, load it, load it, load it.
Empty backfield now on 2nd and 9. Rivers. Alexander with the touchdown. 34 yards. Denario
matchup I'm sure they wanted. Ross, who's getting a start today because of injury, getting manned up. Goes single high coverage, and Giordano just can't get over there in time. It's too much ground to cover and too short a field. The ball got there too fast. That was a great decision by Rivers.
Novak with the extra point. 4:59 left to go in the third, and the Chargers extend their lead over the Oakland Raiders. 24/7 Chargers back in San Diego, and aerial coverage of today's game is provided by MetLife. Zenario Alexander, who has given the Chargers a big play threat. 4 of his touchdown catches have been from 34 yards or more. Francis from a couple yards deep in the end zone. And hammered as he crossed the 20. And that was Melvin Ingram again.
Well, there's talk about doing away with the kickoff in the NFL. Coy Francis may be in favor of that after that play. Well,
they like this young man. They think he's got a big-time future, the 18th overall pick. Chargers have been very pleased with his play as a rookie out of South Carolina. So Pryor takes over, 1st and 10. And throws it behind Denarius Moore. And we'll take another look at the touchdown.
Well, when you're down inside of Raider territory and they go single high, the ball isn't going to be in the air long enough for Giordano to get over to the sideline. See lots of room there for Alexander to work Ross in the slot, and Giordano 1 or 2 hesitations, and that's it.
Alexander spent his first seasons in the league with the Rams, signed by San Diego in late October. Already has 2 100-yard games and now 7 touchdowns all over the last 8 games, and he may have found a home here in San Diego. 2nd and 10. Good penetration by the swarming San Diego defense, but McFadden gets away. A tremendous individual effort from Darren McFadden, finally pushed out of bounds by Gilchrist. A gain of 6.
Well, you see right there, as he gets hit right in the backfield, runs through some tackles. That, you're right, an individual effort, no doubt. McFadden making that play. Hagan making the block outside on Cason.
And there is a Charger down on the field. Corey Legion, 2nd-year man out of Illinois. So a timeout on the field. 4:17 left to go in the third. 24/7 San Diego. Terrell Pryor today making his first NFL start. In for Carson Palmer, who's out with the cracked ribs and a bruised lung suffered last week against Carolina. But an opportunity for the young man out of Ohio State. 3rd-round pick in the supplemental draft last year. Outstanding career at Ohio State. 31-4 as the starting quarterback. 57 career touchdown passes to tie the school record. He added 17 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving. Made his first start today since leading Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl at the end of the 2010 season. 3rd and 4, Steve, after the timeout.
Anytime you get an injury to a 33-year-old quarterback as good as Carson Palmer has been, you kind of have to start to look down the road and find out what your options are, and that's what the Raiders are doing with Pryor today.
Pryor. Incomplete. Underthrew Darius Hayward-Bay, but Bay still had a chance to bring it in and couldn't.
Well, Pryor's put up a couple of passes today that were not accurate. This is one of them, although Hayward-Bay, man, catch up with it. You got to catch that. I mean, that's not a good throw, but man, you got to catch that. It could have been a touchdown if it was a perfectly thrown football. as it was, it could have been a first down and a drive maintainer, you know.
So Pryor over his last 4 with 1 interception. Meanwhile, Spurlock fields it at the 22. Tries to bring it back and can't do it. And we've got a flag back on the other side of the field, maybe running into the kicker.
That's a first down.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team, number 41. That 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Well, if you can't get it by completing the pass, get it with a roughing the kicker, and watch as Leckler is going to... Yeah, you can't do that. You got to take a different angle coming in to try and block that punt. And that's Scaife.
Demick Scaife in his first year out of Boston College called for the infraction. So they spotted at the 34 and a fresh set of downs for the Oakland Raiders.
And those are the kind of penalties that you think about.
McFadden back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
Yeah, those penalties really stay with you when this game's over, no matter how it goes. Those are penalties that really change the game. It extends the drive the Raiders had going, and really you got to stop defensively, and now you're back on offense, and everything's in play again. The Raiders with the football, driving it, and you're still in the third quarter. Those are the kind that the penalties that just really hurt you.
2nd and 10. Power I formation. McFadden behind Reese. And they give it to McFadden up the middle. Pounds his way out to the 40. Gray made the stop. 16 carries for McFadden, 49 yards.
We talked about some of the things that are going on with this Raider organization, how they evolved from when they were run by a single guy, Al Davis, and now with Reggie McKinney as a true general manager, and it's interesting to see how they're evolving.
We talked about the choices they have to make. Carson Palmer turned 33 this past Thursday. So what do they do with the quarterback position? 3rd and 4. Chargers showing blitz. Here they come. Pryor still on his feet. Throws it and incomplete. Almost made something out of that. Wow. Intended for Denarius Moore.
Well, we've all seen quarterbacks, particularly young quarterbacks, try this and not get away with it. In this case, Pryor reverses his field, got everybody chasing him, reverses his field again, then shows his athleticism and almost, as you said, almost makes this happen.
And it was Ingram again who made Pryor have to run for his life back there.
Well, you see why a guy like Pryor is so intriguing as a quarterback prospect.
Good punt from Leckler. Spurlock makes the fair catch at about the 8-yard line. A 52-yard punt from Leckler. The SS Tasker out of the harbor here in San Diego.
Yeah, patiently awaiting my return, yeah, right?
Chargers take over deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 from their own 8-yard line, leading 24-7. Here late in the 3rd. Battle, who's been the workhorse today. Stopped by Shaughnessy. Well, not only does CBS have the #1 comedy and drama and the top news shows, but this season more people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network. And for that, we thank you very much. 2nd and 7 for San Diego. Back at their own 10. Michael getting repositioned by Rivers. Gets it off in time. Battle, bursts through. And he has a first down. Giordano made the stop.
That was a nice run inside, as good a run as he's had all day. The Chargers with a 17-point lead with the luxury of staying with the running game. Jackie Battle, a guy that signed from Kansas City, a big power running back. Just the kind of guy you want in a muddy field.
Taking over the bulk of the running duties with Ryan Matthews suffering another major shoulder injury in the game December 16th against Carolina. Inside of a minute remaining in the third. Battle. It's wrapped up at about the 21-22 yard line by Lamar Houston.
May be the last play of the third quarter, as the Chargers, of course, are perfectly willing to let the clock run away and get to the end of this football game with this lead.
Pryor thinking things over here in his first NFL start. And that is the end of the third quarter, and we'll return to San Diego after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Some snow in the mountains here in Southern California. Back in San Diego, ready to start the final quarter. 24-7, Chargers facing a 2nd and 7. And again, it's Battle. Knocked around. Gets it out to the 23-yard line. And that'll bring up third down.
You kind of feel the Chargers not really pushing their foot on the accelerator, kind of pulling it in, just handing it off on a 2nd and long. Really, that's a downward, I think, a coin flip with Phillip Rivers. You want to throw the football with him, get a little bit of a completion, get it at least to a 3rd and short. But with a 17-point lead, you can tell the philosophy shifts just a little bit in the Charger favor. They can be more conservative than normal.
From the gun. Have a marker down. Rivers could be a free play. Slings it to Royal, incomplete. We'll check the penalty.
Yet another hard count by Phillip Rivers we spoke about in the first half.
Offside, defense number 99 in the neutral zone at the snap, 5-yard penalty, replay, third down.
And now the run on 2nd down doesn't seem like so much of a risk. You can draw them off sides on 3rd and long, and that's Houston just getting the top of his helmet into the neutral zone. That's all it takes. And that run for no gain turns into a run for 5 on 2nd down, and now it's 3rd and 2.
Rain and hail earlier today makes for a very muddy field. Tough footing for the players, but as you might expect here in Southern California, even in December, comfortable temperatures. Chargers with a 3rd and let's call it 1. McClain in battle. Battle behind McClain. Tries to power his way to the first down, and we'll just have to check his forward progress.
That's very close. It doesn't look like they're going to give him enough for the first down. Raiders don't think he got it. It depends really on, it's 4th down. He did not get enough. And the Chargers keep their offense on the field. No, now Cyphers will come out and they'll punt it away. But you see there the push up front by the Chargers, and the Raiders match it and stop him short of the first down. Tommy Kelly doing a great job using up the double team. Man, that's a battle down inside, and in that case, the Raiders won it.
Cyphers averaging over 50 yards a punt today. 4th and 1. Giordano is the deep man. Another outstanding punt. Fair catch called for and made by Giordano at the 24-yard line. That was a 48-yard punt. 24-7 Chargers. We're back at Qualcomm Stadium. Raiders 1st and 10 from their own 24. They trail 24-7. Just over 13 minutes left to play in the 4th. Pryor to the sideline, incomplete. Intended for Darius Hayward-Bay, and we've got a marker down in the backfield.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Call it on Cooper Carlisle. Meanwhile, the playoff scenarios in the NFC. That's how things stand.
Obviously a little more convoluted in the NFC than it was in the AFC. You can pick the team of your choice, and kind of just huge game tonight. Enormous.
Redskins and the Cowboys, and it's always interesting when those teams get together, but especially with so much on the line. McFadden. And he bulls his way out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. That was good for 8 yards. Weddle made the stop.
So many things we've spoken about these Oakland Raiders, and we've talked about San Diego and what's going to happen there after this season. But Dennis Allen and Reggie McKenzie, the general manager of the Raiders, in a much different position than they have been in years past.
Do you draft a guy like Matt Barkley from up the road at USC, or someone like Geno Smith out of West Virginia, or Tyler Wilson from Arkansas? Let them learn behind Carson Palmer. Certainly need help at the cornerback position. Do you improve there through the draft or free agency? Pryor keeps it. And able to pick up a couple of extra yards.
Well, the draft has always been a touchy subject with the Raiders. You look here at the 04 draft all the way back then. Robert Gallery, second pick overall. The next pick was Larry Fitzgerald, who's headed to the Hall of Fame. 2005 draft, Fabian Washington. Next pick was Aaron Rodgers, and if you're a fan of football, you know his name. And 2007 draft, Jamarcus Russell, who's that draft pick is still smoking from the flame out that it had, and the next pick was Calvin Johnson. So that'll cause some problems for your franchise.
3rd and 7 for the Raiders. Pryor, that's caught. Plucked out of the air by Rod Streeter, who has had a productive rookie season as a free agent out of Temple. Came in with 35 catches for 507 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that was good for 14 yards and a first down.
And there's been no question that Pryor has put his receivers in a position where they've had to make pretty spectacular catches. Not a lot of them have been made today, but Streeter makes a very nice catch on that play, helps his young quarterback out, and that's what's going to happen for Oakland to continue improving.
Out of the offset eye, McFadden to deep back. Short drop for Pryor. Throws it on the move. That's caught by Streeter, who manages to hang on, but is slow getting up.
Yeah, that was a big hit. That hurt bad.
Weddle was the man who delivered the blow.
It was well timed, no question. We're watching the instant.
So an injury timeout here in San Diego. Some ominous looking clouds coming in off the Pacific here in San Diego. Streeter on the sideline. It's no worse for wear. 1st and 10. Pryor, lots of time. Finally has to take off. Has some blockers. And dives forward close to the 35-yard line. We have had a tough physical contest, as you would expect when these two teams get together.
Yeah, there's no love lost between these two teams. Nobody's passing up a chance to really lay the wood on people. It has lived up to the rivalry that it has been in years past, even though these two teams are finishing the season today. You can tell there's a little contempt on both sidelines.
2nd and short. Just over 9.5 minutes remaining in the 4th. McFadden wrapped up by Weddle. He's had another outstanding game. Well, Stephen, we disagree just a little bit. I'll go with Peyton as the MVP and RG3 as the Rookie of the Year, although certainly you can have a conversation and not be wrong about that. So many great rookie quarterbacks, and we agree, Bruce Arians for Coach of the Year. Great job he did as the interim head coach for Chuck Pagano, leading the Indianapolis Colts to the postseason, and a remarkable turnaround, and they won again today. A marker is down. Pryor down the right side trying to get to the marker. And let's check the penalty.
Chargers might have lined up in the neutral zone, but I think actually it's going to go against the Raiders, it looks like. It's going to be 4th down. If they decline it, it'll be 3rd and about 8 if they accept. But with Janikowski...
Illegal formation, offense, number 83 was covered. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
And I think that may be the thing to do, because if you don't accept the penalty, it'll be a 4th down, no question, but you're well within Janikowski's field goal range, and the guy doesn't miss inside of 50, although this would be a 50, probably 54-yarder.
He's missed only once this season inside of 60.
This is a little bit of a roll of the dice, because you do give the Raiders a chance to sustain this drive. Otherwise, you force the kick.
4 down.
So 3rd, and we'll call it 7. Pryor pump fake. Up the sideline. That is caught by Streeter. Right on the money from Pryor.
And the gamble by North Turner does not pay off. They could have had a 4th down and 2 on the 32-yard line. He decides to make them go for the 3rd down again, and they pick it up on the big play to Streeter, who is back in the game after getting lit up by Weddle, comes in and makes the great play on the ball. That's a courageous play by a guy who just had to leave the field under duress.
38 yards and a nice double move that fooled Quentin Jammer. So 1st and goal for the Raiders. Pryor. Touchdown. Terrell Pryor. That may have been a busted play.
I don't think it was busted, but I do think it was a huge play fake to the right side, and Pryor did a nice job of handling the football. McFadden does a nice job of ducking in there and making a nice fake. And Pryor, once he turns out, that's the one time the San Diego defense wasn't looking at him. And that's a mistake by the defense that they didn't make all day until that play, and they gave up a touchdown.
First rushing touchdown since week 7 against the Jaguars.
Both these clubs have struggled to run for touchdowns.
They came in with a combined 7 rushing touchdowns this season, but the Raiders find the end zone. Tighten things up a little bit here in the 4th. Terrell Pryor on that drive, 3 for 3 for 67 yards, plus the 3-yard touchdown run. 10-point game. And the kick goes out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. With Rivers and company ready to go back to work. Tonight on 60 Minutes, a robotic breakthrough that is stunning the medical world, plus film director Judd Apatow. On 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. 7:43 left to go in the 4th. Chargers take over, 1st and 10 at their own 20. Rivers will throw on 1st down. And that is caught by Royal. Let's take another look at the touchdown. It was definitely a planned play, although the fake was not a tremendous one.
Yeah, and look, Pryor, as he looks over here, he's checking out Gilchrist, hoping that he bites on the play fake. Pryor does, Gilchrist does. There's nobody left out there. And for the first time, really, the Chargers don't leave somebody on the backside to guard against a bootleg by Pryor, and they pay the price with the touchdown.
Rain starting to fall once again here in San Diego. From 31, Battle fights his way forward for a couple. Michael Huff made the stop. Huff really forced into action at cornerback with the injury to Shante Spencer. Made his first career start at cornerback in week 3.
You see there, it's starting to something you rarely hear. The weather is bad in San Diego. It rained yesterday for a good portion of the day, and today, as we said a couple of times, very hard with hail just before kickoff, and now it's starting to turn bad again.
23.
2nd and 8.
380.
Tossed to Battle. And he'll lose a yard. Good penetration by Lamar Houston. In the playoff scenario in the AFC, the Texans lost earlier today to the Colts.
Well,
So Denver with a chance to wrap up home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. They lead the Chiefs, so that's almost, as you like to say, Steve, a fait accompli. And the Patriots will be the number 2 seed.
and the Texans wobble into the playoffs after starting so promisingly in the first half of the season.
Limping to the finish line. 3rd and 9 for San Diego. And movement before the snap. Rivers tries to get
False
rid
start.
of it.
Number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
He knew that Kevin Haslam, his left tackle, had moved.
Rivers told us it was going to be an emotional day for him as he looks over and takes the play from Norv Turner. They've been together for 6 years, have done a lot of incredible things offensively. Anytime you're a quarterback with a coach like Norv Turner, you know, you go back to the guys Norv Turner's worked with, Troy Aikman and others. I mean, they all look to Norv Turner and say what a great coach he is to play for, particularly at quarterback position.
3rd and 14. Ronnie Brown stopped at the 30, so that'll bring up 4th down.
You think back to some of the guys that Norv Turner's worked with. Aikman, I mentioned. Brad Johnson back with Washington, and that offense finished number 2 in the league in 1999, just second to Kurt Warner in the greatest show on turf. He also worked with Alex Smith in one of his better years, one of his best years at San Francisco before this latest. Even got great years out of Jim Everett. And you know, you look at the guys who had played for him at quarterback and their careers in the best years, they were all playing for Norv Turner.
Cyphers. And the Chargers will take a timeout. 4th and 11. And tomorrow, CBS Sports jumps into the bowl season from El Paso, Texas, as Biletnikoff Award winner Marquise Lee and the Trojans from USC battle Tevin Washington and the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech in the Sun Bowl live from El Paso, Texas. That's tomorrow here on CBS.
There's a little symmetry to that game for me. My good friend Bill McAtee, a native of El Paso.
That is very true.
And somewhat of an interest in one of those teams that's playing in that game.
Well, I think Marquise Lee, if you get a chance to watch tomorrow, is a guy that has a chance to really be an impactful player on Sundays here in the NFL. He is tremendous. So 4th and 11. Cyphers back at his own 15. Denarius Moore retreats and bobbles the ball. It's loose. Scramble for it. And some pushing and shoving. So will this be the end of the Norv Turner era in San Diego? Well, the Colts were an NFL worst 2-14 just a year ago, but with Andrew Luck and now the return of Chuck Pagano and Bruce Arians doing a terrific job on an interim basis, the Colts will try to upset Joe Flacco, Ray Rice, and the AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens.
And the thing that all teams play for, that home field, will go to Baltimore, and that's over the years they've been really tough at home, have the Ravens, and now that team evolves from Ray Lewis and defensively oriented now to Joe Flacco and offensively oriented. It'll be interesting to see how that game plays out.
4:18 left to go in the 4th. McFadden in the backfield with Pryor. Has he done enough today to earn a shot at the starting quarterback spot in training camp? Dumps it down to Myers as tight end. Really emerged as one of the Raiders' big offensive weapons. 75 catches for 753 yards and 4 touchdowns coming in. Dennis Allen certainly, along with Reggie McKenzie, will have a lot of choices and decisions to make. Second and 5. Pryor bobbles the football. Still loose. And he kind of pushes it out of bounds.
And you see the official tosses his head, and this is a sign that the rain is falling. I mean, he tries to tuck it away, and for a guy with experience, me playing in bad weather, when you have sleeves, long sleeves on, and you start to tuck the football away, now that just comes out of his grip. But so many times players have real problems handling the football with sleeves because the ball becomes slipperier against cloth than it does against skin.
During the fumble, we have an illegal bat by number 6, Oakland. 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay second down.
So an illegal bat.
Well, he batted it out of bounds forward, which is the illegal. If he bats this backward, it's different. See how he tosses it forward, and that's the penalty. And you see the official throws his hat in the air for the illegal bat.
So second and 15 after the penalty. 3:36 left on the clock. 24-14 San Diego. The game started with a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by the San Diego Chargers and Michael Spurlock. Pryor in his first NFL start today. Lofts it to the sideline over the head of Denarius Moore, incomplete. They'll bring up third and long, 3rd and 15.
You can see there as Pryor starts to fool around with the glove, and you can see how muddy and filthy he is, and it's wet out there as well. So it's all an issue, and that you can tell where a player's mind is. Something's bothering him about the grip on the football. He wants to get his glove fixed so it feels good on his hand. He's got to have his throwing hand clear. He's got a towel on. That towel's probably sopping wet. So I think the ball handling is really an issue here late in this game.
See what he can do on 3rd and 15. In the seam, incomplete. Little behind Streeter. That'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, just a couple of inaccurate passes there late. And I think Streeter remembered a shot that he took earlier in the game from Weddle that kind of made him less than enthusiastic about trying to catch this floater. And that was a bad pass behind him. Weddle's waiting on him. And once again was a throw that maybe Pryor should have tried to gun in and send it low. Although might have been picked off then as well.
Leckler. Spurlock calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 34. Next Sunday, CBS Sports, the home of the Super Bowl, ramps up the playoffs with the AFC wild card. It all begins with JB, Dan, Coach Shannon, and Boomer on a special playoff edition of the NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. More people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network. Winding down the regular season. 3:16 left to go in the 4th. Chargers take over, leading 24-14. Curtis Brinkley in the backfield, his 3rd year out of Syracuse. Right side. Powers his way out to the 40. Burris made the stop.
There you go. It's finalized. Denver has won home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and they will have a big say in who heads to the Super Bowl. They will get a first-round bye, and as we wait to see who the 2 and the 3 seed are, it will be Houston and New England or New England and Houston, depending on the outcome of the New England game, as they are leading the Dolphins.
A sizable lead, so likely to be the number 2 seed. 3:09 left to go in the 4th. Rain continues to fall. It's been a muddy day. We had heavy rains and hail prior to the start of the game.
Hey, quick down, quick down.
It's made the Footing a bit tricky. 2nd and 4. Battle. Chargers content to just take some time off the clock.
And force the Raiders to use a timeout right there to save hopefully time at the end if the ball gets punted to them. Give them more time on the clock.
Thursday on CBS, catch the first new Elementary of the year and see why it's TV's #1 news show. Elementary, Thursday only, CBS. Beautiful scenery. California coastline here in San Diego.
You know, look at the Chargers, and if Norv Turner and their regime is indeed not here next year, this is not a team that is unattractive to a head coach coming in. You've got a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, which is an unusual set of circumstances. Usually head coaches take over teams that don't have that in place. This Charger team does, and that changes the landscape, I think, for the head coaching search for this franchise.
3rd and 3. Brinkley can't get to the edge, slips down. Miles Burris made the stop, and we are set once again for an update. Let's go to JB and Boomer in New York.
Guess who's back for New England?
Well, it's Rob Gronkowski, and nobody can cover him. Nobody wanted to cover him. Look how wide open he is. 28-0 New England. They have a lock on the #2 seed in the AFC playoffs.
Bill McAtee, Steve Tasker.
All right, guys, great job all day keeping us up to date on the different playoff scenarios. So the Patriots clinch a first-round bye. Bengals and the Texans faced each other in the 2011 AFC wildcard game. J.J. Watt broke a 10-10 tie with a 29-yard interception return for a touchdown. Houston added second-half touchdowns from Andre Johnson and Arian Foster to put the game out of reach, and they won it 31-10.
That's the likely matchup if things continue as they are in New England. And I'll tell you, as you come back to a team who had their season ended by somebody, you are fired up. The Bengals are really going to put forth a huge effort against Houston. That's going to be a great game.
Cyphers, and it's blocked. Blocked by the Raiders. Galen Burnett recovered it. And the Raiders are in business.
I'll tell you what. There is no give up, and then what a great effort as Francis, who is a kick returner, defensive back, comes in and gets his hands on the punt and sets the Raiders up for a touchdown. You want to talk about a team who's in the midst of a transition year, rebuilding, rookie quarterback, first start, not giving up, and the Raiders pull a stunt like that, block a punt, and set themselves up late. Tip your hat to the silver and black.
2:45 left to go in regulation. From the 11. Pryor buys some time. Underneath. And Myers stopped just short of the goal line.
And that'll be enough for a first down.
Dakota Watson blocked Cypher's punt, and Adam Hayward returned it for a touchdown in Week 10. And Week 11 in Denver, Nate Irving blocked Cypher's punt, and Denver scored on the next play. So the punting unit has struggled a bit. McFadden.
Looked like he almost got in with a second. No, they're not going to give it to him.
Going to mark it just short of the goal line.
Just short with the clock running, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning with the Raiders right on the doorstep.
Raiders down by 10, but knocking at the door here in the 4th. First and goal for the Raiders, trying to make it a 3-point game. Oakland out of timeouts, 2 minutes remaining. And flags before the snap.
That's Osbury.
Ball start,
jumped.
number 86, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's an enormous mental mistake that may cost him a touchdown. How do you jump off sides on a first and goal inside the 1? Right there, just that twitch. You can't do that. You see the disgust on Dennis Allen's face as he shakes his head.
So they'll go for the shotgun now. First and goal from inside the 6. Pryor on the move. Buys some time. Touchdown. Denarius Moore.
In the pouring rain, after a penalty sets him back, Pryor extends the play and throws it unbelievably late over the middle where you're not supposed to throw it, and comes up with the touchdown. As he extends this play, this is not a design rollout. He feels the pressure, extends it, watch, and keeps his eyes down the field, throws the floater to a wide open Moore for the touchdown.
And this one isn't over yet. Janikowski makes it a 3-point game with 1:52 left to go in the 4th. And that was really all Terrell Pryor.
Moore is going to end up catching the pass from Pryor as he just gets lost. Works to the side and then loses on because of the footing. Now you see Weddle lost his footing and couldn't catch back up with Moore as the play developed. Well, it comes down to this, as you're going to see an onside kick by the Raiders. If they get it, they got a chance. If they don't, San Diego can kneel down to win the game. No question you're going to see an onside kick, as you'll see the formation here.
"14 unanswered points by the Oakland Raiders, and they will try the onside kick out of timeouts with 1:52 left to go in regulation. Terrell Pryor has been able to bring the Raiders back in his first NFL start. The ex-star out of Ohio State has thrown for 2 touchdowns and run for another with 1 interception. Now Janikowski, Steve Tasker will try to pull off the onside kick. And the Chargers have it.
Well, in a game that's been decided really by special teams plays, the opening kickoff return for a touchdown, a fake punt that set up a touchdown, a block punt that set up another touchdown, the onside kick.
And Michael Spurlock, who started the game with a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, falls on the onside kick.
This will allow the Chargers to kneel down on the ball and run out the clock. The Raiders, having spent their 3 timeouts to get the football back and force the punt that they blocked and then scored upon in the ensuing plays.
And more than likely, the final few minutes for Norv Turner as the head coach of the San Diego Chargers.
Ironically enough, his tenure ends in the victory formation.
Take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. Denver has the #1 seed, so the road to Super Bowl 47, which you can see here on CBS, will go through the Mile High City in the AFC. New England, the #2 seed. Houston losing again today, so limping to the finish line of the regular season. They are the #3 seed.
So Cincinnati will play in Houston, and Indianapolis will play in Baltimore.
Take a knee once again. Snapping it just before the play clock reaches 0. So the playoff picture coming into focus now. The Colts against the Ravens. Bengals against the Texans.
If Cincinnati beats Houston, they'll go to Denver as the lowest seed. And that's how that works.
Clock continuing to run. North Turner will end the season at 7-9 and win 3 of his final 4 games. And he will find out very soon about his future here in San Diego. But he ends with a victory over the Oakland Raiders, who came back and made it close at the end, 24-21.